Welcome back. Did you see us all? Welcome back. There's 4 quadrants. There's no one over this way, but John Alba's over this way. Over her. Down here's Frank Manzo. And over there somewhere is JT to the Pruitt. Wrestle reaction. How the hell are you?
Doug, people hear us every single week, Doug. Let's cede the floor to our Wrestle reaction brethren who we haven't seen in a year plus. Frank Manzo, JT. Frank, this is your ship. Hear it. It's all you.
Oh, wow. Oh, my Lord. Okay, so JT and I literally pulled an Undertaker on this bitch, okay? We went WrestleMania review show to WrestleMania review show 1 year. That was the last episode. Fun note that you guys can all find out if you watch the show tonight. We recorded an episode to come back. Didn't go so well. And then wrestling really sucked after that, so we didn't come back. JT, love you, brother. Miss you, brother. We are back. We've got the 2 hombres above us right now. This is, 2 nights of WrestleMania. We've been off air for a year. We are living in coronavirus land, and I am literally reporting to you live from the hot zone of the United States of America right now. Everything's sealed.
Yeah, watch your ass, New York.
I can't come in I can't come in this house without showering, by the way. That's like a twice-a-day event now. JT, miss you and love you, brother. What's going on?
I can't believe it's been 1 year since we closed our doors on the old Wrestle Reaction podcast, but it's good to be back. I mean, Frank, we did try an episode and then
technical difficulties.
Not even just that, but just wrestling, specifically WWE, is just not good.
Hey, I'd like to say that Doug O'Mac and I have kept you every single damn week. Living the Gimmick podcast. We have suffered through it too.
I don't know who deserves more credit, you two or the people who sports radio right now, okay? No.
You know what? At some point, I just had to stop. I had to stop. I couldn't do it anymore because I can't. Even tonight, like, we'll get into it, but even tonight, like, I complained and gave the B word all day long because I just didn't care about tonight.
Get you to the
Rumble.
And
I don't care about tomorrow.
Just get you to
do what, John?
Get you to the Rumble.
I mean,
we had a Ted Halpern post on my post for this show that said, "Get me to the Rumble." That happened like 5 minutes after the actual post was put up for this show, which I just thought was the greatest thing. And JT loved that. So
at this point, just get me back to live audiences.
Yeah.
Well,
really, because that's what it
inside, so we can get this coronavirus under control.
That's true. That's true. Well, let's vote. You're watching the Wrestle Reaction, Living the Gimmick, WrestleMania Night 1 post show. The return of Wrestle Reaction. We're going to be back tomorrow night doing this as well. Again, Living the Gimmick. Doug O'Mac and I coming to you every single week, every single Tuesday with our buddy Josh Eisenberg, a myriad of other contributors. And, of course, you got to make sure you check out patreon.com/Living the Gimmick for as low as $5 a month. Doug and I are giving you a ton of bonus content. And we got LTG Mania coming up this month. We got a free watch along for everyone of a classic WrestleMania match. Go vote on that now at the LTG podcast. Gentlemen, before we start, since this is the return of Wrestle Reaction, I thought it would only be apropos that the Wrestle Reaction review show is brought to you unofficially by Barefoot Wine.
Bitch.
I all of you folks here.
You pour one out for your homies.
A toast to the return of Wrestle Reaction.
Your basic bitches.
Beer, raise your wine, your glasses, your plastic solo cups. A cheers to all of you. We are back and ready to do this.
So let me summarize what John just said with all of that good stuff that they've been doing. Give these 2 men your money, okay? And it's not much of it, okay? When they're not trying to overcharge, the prices are very reasonable. The content they're giving you is awesome. Even the stuff I don't get to listen to, I still go and vote on the polls and tell them what to do because I just think it's great. So they're doing a great job. We've been off the air for a year. They've been holding it down. There has been a third person involved somewhat. I don't think he wanted to come on with us tonight, but hey, we'll see what happens there.
We love him.
We do love him.
Hey, let's do this, Ken. Frank, this is your ship. Steer the way. We had a pre-show match. It was Drew Gulak and Cesaro.
I don't even want to talk about the pre-show. I want to talk about whose fault all of this is right now. And that's Carol effing Baskin, okay? Ruined all of WrestleMania. It's her fault.
Guess what, motherfucker?
I'll never
Carol Baskin.
I'll never financially recover from this.
Never. Oh my God, Tiger King was amazing, by the way, and it was more entertaining than the pre-show for sure. Huh?
They're gonna and Netflix is gonna release one more full episode of Tiger King this week because I guess they had so much more stuff in the can, and they already talked about season 2.
Can you just talk about like the most amazing release timing in the history of anything?
Man. Perfect.
Like
everyone's at home. Everybody needs something to do,
and that's not something that I probably would have
6 hours that you can't move away from your TV
usually. But like we're quarantined, and I'm working limited hours, and everybody was talking about this. If you haven't seen it yet, see it. We're having some fun with it before we get into WrestleMania. But yes, John, WrestleMania 36, too big for one night. JT, go drink.
There it is.
It's just, gentlemen.
I'm about to text my pregnant wife to tell her to come bring me another beer.
There we go. Make sure she doesn't drink any. Just bring it to you.
Throw the picture. Just throw your picture back up and go get you one. Don't make her get up. Yeah, so they've been gone for a year.
Yeah.
Frank's been a dad for how many?
19 months.
A year plus 7 months. And now JT's about to be a dad.
Yeah,
less than a month. Let's not let that go unnoticed. There's a lot of daddy stuff happening.
Thank you.
Less than a month.
What's happened in that year? Obviously I'm a financial advisor, and unfortunately, my partner ripped off a drug cartel. My family was threatened, and we had to move to the Ozarks to start laundering drug money. Just kidding. That's a different storyline. Another great
season 3. Awesome.
So great. We're going to get all of that out right now because now we're going to get to WrestleMania. So listen,
Alex, so we got to address something in the chat. There was a couple of comments. So specific, Alex, JT to get a 6-pack. Before this quarantine thing started, I was in the gym every day, twice a day, looking good. I hadn't had a beer in almost 6 months, and then quarantine happened.
Yep.
Hey, dum-dum. He was talking about you actually getting a 6-pack of beer, not your abs.
Hey, look, there was comments about me working out.
Of course you would think he's talking about your abs.
I did have some abs. And
this guy was on JT.
This guy was on the
guns before we get started.
We almost had to implement a wellness policy at Wrestle Reaction.
You're right.
Okay, my lord.
Snorting the Ryhack supplements.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the Ryback. Look, shout out to Ryback because those supplements are dope.
Yeah,
they're great.
Well, I hope you didn't beat your wife like Latimer in the program yet, dude. That shit's crazy.
God.
when your nipple starts lactating from all the supplements.
You mean the Ultimate Warrior white nipples at WrestleMania 6? Pretty
Something
much.
is definitely coming out.
So WrestleMania happened, right? So we opened with
unfortunately the lactating in my house stopped. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Cesaro, Drew Gulak. Let's talk.
I'm getting it out. Yes. All right. So listen, WrestleMania 36 pre-show. It just sucked. Okay, let's just talk about it. So Gulak and Cesaro are fantastic, and we saw Gulak and Braun tear it down about 6 weeks ago. And they went out there and did nothing, only gave them a couple minutes, which was so stupid because we got nothing but a studio pre-show the whole time. It was all
match?
Yeah, this match.
How long?
This match went 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
Cesaro
tweeted earlier in the day that this was like a really special thing because he and Drew Gulak came in together and it was like a big special thing. So I'm like, okay, maybe they gave him like 10, 12 minutes to work in the match here. They worked 4.5 minutes. And the work was good for the 4.5 minutes.
But how much can you do in 4.5 minutes? I mean, come on.
It was fine.
Exactly.
It was fine, but it's 4 minutes on a pre-show.
If I'm them right now, I'm saying to myself, holy shit, it's quarantine mania, and we can't even get more than 5 minutes on a pre-show. Like that's disgusting. Like, let them go out there and work. You roll Stephanie out there telling us this is for the home entertainment and get your minds off all the bad right now and everything else. And yeah, thank you, wifey. Exactly. But Yeah, this just wasn't good. By the way, I was a little busy after that. Did they do another pre-show match, or that was it?
No, tomorrow night there's a second one.
Okay, I think that's what, Liv Morgan versus Natalya?
That's
Okay. So then we're on to the main show.
Yay.
Okay, and first of all,
No, hang on. Yes,
hang on,
please don't
first,
gloss over this
I'm
stupid
gonna go
freaking
first,
intro
and then
video.
You're gonna go second. So the America the Beautiful compilation, I thought was great.
That's great. That was fun.
That was fantastic.
Totally
fine
great.
with that.
And it was right now with everything we're dealing with in the country. Beautiful tribute. I'm with Vince. I've always preferred it over the national anthem. Nothing wrong with the national anthem. It's just better. We've had a lot of great performances. There was a ton of WrestleMania 3 Aretha Franklin in this. You know which
Ray
one
Charles is the
Vince
best.
prefers. Okay, and it was really nice to see with everything going on right now to kick off Mania like that. Obviously, they couldn't do a grand performance. Doug, I know what you want to talk about. Take it away.
All right. You taped these shows last week. Okay. You had a full week and a half to redo the intro video. Like, I know that this was supposed to be a theme around pirates, and yeah, they were going to have the giant pirate ship and the skull and crossbones and all that stuff out there for the staging, but you didn't. You were running this at the Performance Center, and you knew what you had. So you taped everything. Why are we still showing a 6 minute? It felt like 6 minutes. This 6 minute movie intro for WrestleMania, where there's some wacky, cheesy pirate stuff that's obviously like
a Kraken.
Oh, yeah.
Drew McIntyre, Claymore kicked the Kraken, and then they go straight from that into a shot of him on a ramp in a grainy video from Monday Night Raw where Claymore kicks Brock Lesnar like he's the Kraken. No, why show this for 6 minutes where they only have 5 people that they shot footage of for this intro, and then they filled in everybody else with shots from other shows and pay-per-views and SmackDowns and Raws and main events and stupid bullcrap. It looked the best thing WWE has is their video packaging editors and the people who put this stuff together. And this was cut rate, absolutely cheap, awful. Why would they show this instead of
I'm going to
taking the
say
time
with the exception of people being in it that were not going to be in WrestleMania, which I guess you want that cut. Okay, I understand that.
Roman was
my wife and I actually enjoyed the intro. I thought it was fun. I'm just gonna say it. I thought it was fun.
No.
Cheeseball cheese.
I'm not
for the
not
sake
saying I
of
was
cheeseball
in love with it.
cheese waste.
The goofy.
And are they going to show it again tomorrow night?
Yes, they're going to show it again tomorrow night. Are you kidding me? Why wouldn't they show it again tomorrow night? The goofy Jack Sparrow, wannabe actor.
Wannabe, yeah.
It's probably just Buddy Murphy.
Roman must pose. I think
100% Roman. Like you had time to cut the guy
you
out.
had time, but I
The whole point was that he was in there breaking the fourth wall, telling you this is not just about this horrible Jack Sparrow impersonation and about these images from the pirate ship. It's about the matchups and blah. And they started teasing matchups, and then Drew McIntyre kicks a Kraken, and it was stupid as hell.
Yeah, even my
Been
wife
quarantined
called
in
that.
South
She was
Carolina
like,
too long. I just said hail, and it was 2 syllables.
I mean, I say that all the time. My wife, when he kicked the Kraken, said, Did he just kick a Kraken? And I said, yep. And then I took a drink, and I've been drinking since like 2. So, yeah.
it was a Viking experience extravaganza, Ivar, no doubt about that. Look, they're trying to give it this big feel.
And then they immediately cut to the Performance Center where you see the big ass fan spinning above the entrance.
Oh, the
And
fan!
no,
all
that's
night.
the
The
legit
fan-
brand
I
name
can't
of the
believe Vince
fan.
allowed the fan in the shots. I can't. I'm just like all night. I'm saying to myself, Vince has to be screaming that fan is on screen.
Yeah, man. Big ass fan. Sponsored by big ass fans. This whole paper.
You had to get the fan shots in.
Yeah.
Ah.
And you know what it is, guys? It's just the whole piracy theme. Just it didn't work because we weren't in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers stadium. I mean, just
Interpol was coming in at some point.
you know what I mean? Like,
And we didn't get JT Pruitt's favorite, Kari Sane, coming off a pirate ship for her.
She did wear a pirate hat tonight.
And
there was going to be a treasure hunt. Okay,
All right.
I don't care what
So
anybody
after all,
says.
the
There
best
was
part-
we will never know.
The best part
Can I
is
just
all
have
this happened.
the crying moment of the day that apparently, and this is like a rest in peace moment right here for real, that we just got screwed out of seeing Alter Bridge play Edge to the Ring live at WrestleMania. That is what we all heard today. That is enough to like literally make me just want to scream right now. Okay, like please do that another time.
I've been saying it on the podcast the last 2 weeks. Like once I heard that rumor 2 weeks ago, I've been talking about it on the podcast and how it just pisses me off because they're one of my favorite bands live. So we came from pirate video to big ass fan to immediately JT's favorite tag team.
Yes. Yes.
The Kabuki Warriors facing off against.
Is it not the most Vince McMahon thing ever to beat Asian women in the opening of WrestleMania during the coronavirus? That's all I'm saying. I have to at least mention.
I mean, if you're
even
saying
though they are not from China,
I'm about to say if you're saying that Vince doesn't know the difference between Japanese and Chinese,
as you know, Doug, I lost my damn legs to some Chinaman back in Korea.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just start this. So we start with Kyrie and Oscar, right?
I'm staying.
This is what John gets for telling me I can't use the F word. By the way,
I'm finishing my coffee.
The immediate when I'm standing in my kitchen, shredding my pulled pork, and I hear the music.
That's what you were doing. That's what they call it now.
That's what they call it now. And I just lost it. Like in my brain, I'm just like, what? And then I just hear the screaming. It's the screaming. Even tonight when Goldberg did it, it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Why are you screaming? It doesn't make any sense.
I would have paid for it. Like
there's no fans. God.
I have bigger problems with this than that. So, they're to the credit of all these workers, they're all working super hard trying to make.
Did you say Bowling for Soup was supposed to play Alexa Bliss?
Cross out, yes. So all these workers are trying super hard, okay? And I got to give everyone credit today in that sense. They all work super hard, trying to make the best out of a really crappy situation. Nikki Cross is trying to get the hot tag, and she's clapping, trying to get
the crowd involved. Yeah,
and there's no crowd.
Yeah, yep.
And Michael Cole's trying so hard. He's like, the clapping's trying to get Alexa Bliss to her feet. I'm like, no, that is something that you do to get the fans to get into the hot tag and to try to get everything going. You build the heat. The heel comes, makes the cut off in the corner, and I'm just like, man, they are trying so freaking hard to make this work. I thought these 4 women worked hard.
Sure.
They worked at a decent pace. They got way more time than I thought they would. They got 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was so long.
That was 5 minutes too long.
So they got 15 minutes. The Kabuki Warriors lose.
Was anybody surprised that Alexa and Nikki won the belts?
No.
I didn't see that. I didn't think that was going to happen at this WrestleMania, to be honest.
I mean, look, they're a good act. I like the Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross act.
Not saying they're bad. I didn't see them going over in this situation.
I mean, the bottom line is, Frank, like you have to prove that you're actually investing in that division in the first place.
Yeah.
So
you got to prove that they're investing in anything.
I actually thought it was over, and it would have been a good time to finish when they pulled the Doomsday device into the powerbomb. The Bukkake Warriors. That was I thought that move was great. I thought it was the 3 count right there. And I was kind of surprised to see Alexa and Nikki win, to tell you the truth. I did not see that coming. So, yeah.
Here's my problem. The first 2 matches. Like, okay.
Oh,
we know what this WrestleMania is going to be, right? We're expecting it. We know what we're getting into. First 2 matches. Women's tag. And what was the second match?
The Elias versus Baron Corbin match.
My 2 favorite people in the world. Like, are you kidding me? Start WrestleMania off with a ladder match. Period.
Yeah. Either that or
the right call.
Or Owens versus Rollins or Zayn versus Bryan. I mean, those were like the clear opener matches right out of what you had planned for tonight.
This was SmackDown or Raw. This is all this was.
There were a lot of SmackDown finishes on this show. No doubt about that. Elias and Baron Corbin was the epitome of just that. Elias picks up the win in 9 minutes flat with a roll-up. Keep this in mind here, folks. Baron Corbin retired Kurt Angle last year at WrestleMania.
And then lost to Elias. I was thinking
yeah.
the same thing.
Which you didn't think was going to happen on the podcast, John, and I told you.
And then
I felt it then. Elias is winning this match. And yes, they built up the fact for throughout the entire kickoff show. And then with Corbin coming out and cutting his atrocious promo, trying to remind everyone, hey, I killed Elias on Friday night 2 weeks ago. He shouldn't be able to come out here because he fell 15 feet on the concrete and he's totally fine.
When they were teasing him being scared to come out, I swear to God, I thought Mojo and Gronk were going to hijack this match and we were going to get them. And we didn't.
They had something better planned for them. We didn't talk about Gronk starting the show off.
Did anybody listen to the WrestleMania 2000 episode of JR, by the way, where he basically he said Gronk came out looking like a fool on his entrance? I was cracking up pretty much.
We'll talk about Gronk. So I just got an email from WWE like minutes ago with an entire video package about everything that Gronk did tonight. They're obviously pushing this as a very big deal. They did the angle with him where Mojo pushed him off from winning the title. So no doubt about it, Gronk's winning that 24/7 championship on tomorrow night's show.
Oh, yeah.
Gronk, they're going to have a hard time getting this guy over as a babyface. That's all I can say. They were clearly building to him in Boston at SummerSlam to do some sort of match.
Depends on if you're a stoolie or not there, John.
He'll be over as a babyface in Boston, but that's about it.
When anybody acts like a hype bro, they are cheesy as F. Okay. It is so bad.
It's called being
I mean, like, okay, Mojo's not the greatest thing going. None of us have ever thought he's amazing, but every time he's gone away from that, it's so much better than him being the hype bro. You know what I mean? And then, and no. Okay,
you're gonna sit there and tell me that what he was doing with the stupid gimmick where he was talking all tough and then he came out and kept losing that was better.
I would take that over the goofy hype bro stuff all day.
There's nothing they've done with Mojo Rawley that's made me go, oh, you know what?
Nothing.
I like him more now.
I just said not amazing at all, but the hype bro stuff is what made me hate him to begin with. And me and you were screaming about him winning the Battle Royal at Mania 33, and there we go, Gronk again with that. And now Gronk comes out looking like hype bro Mojo took like the worst cocaine possible, and just it's terrible. The whole thing's terrible. They're making him look goofy. I mean, this is a big time NFL player that they're doing a crossover with, and just here comes WWE doing everything they can to make a person look like the worst version of themselves. It sucks.
No, this is Gronk. That is Gronk.
Yeah.
And 7. This is not a character.
You know how the whole wrestling is like this is the real you with the volume turned up. This isn't like turned up to 10. This is turned up to 50. Like,
no, it wasn't turned up at all. You just wait until they finally turn it up. It was not turned up. This was Gronk 24/7.
Talking about
This is
Gronk on social media. This is Gronk all the time. This is not even Gronk's up yet, dude.
Life. This is Gronk's gimmick. He is a very regardless of what people think, he's actually a pretty smart dude, right? He never touched a single dime of his NFL money. He lives off of his endorsements.
He walked away when he needed to.
Mm-hmm. And this gimmick that he is, it's what he created. And it's what he's going to ride with in WWE. That's what the hype bro was based on.
Yeah,
it was based
Mojo
on
was
Gronk.
being Gronk.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't forget, folks, you're watching the Wrestle Reaction reunion show here, recapping night 1 of WrestleMania. We're going to be live tomorrow night as well, recapping night 2. Frank Manzo, JT Pruitt, myself, and Doug O'Mac of Living the Gimmick, which drops every single Tuesday for you. We are trudging along here talking about this. Let's get into our first big match of the night, believe it or not. And I'm going to drop this on you guys, and this is insane to think about. Elias and King Corbin got 30 more seconds than Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler did. Becky Lynch defeats Shayna Baszler in 8 minutes and 30 seconds to retain the Raw Women's Championship match. I actually really enjoyed this match. And Doug, you and I talked on Living the Gimmick for a few weeks now, if not even longer than that. You know, what Becky Lynch are we going to get? Are we going to get clunky Becky Lynch where it's not really matching up and they don't have the chemistry? Or are we going to get something where there's something cohesive? I thought they actually had a really good match, and I thought they worked at a strong pace. This thing ended 5 to 6 minutes minimum too early. The finish came out of absolutely nowhere. And Becky Lynch gets the win over Shayna Baszler. And that tells me, guys, that maybe there might be a break in programming coming up, because I don't know why you wouldn't ride with Shayna Baszler otherwise.
Yeah, I think that that they had couple different as the I just get the pinwheel of death there. We heard they had shot a couple different finishes for these matches, and obviously this match was shot to go on later in the night because Becky Lynch comes out of her stupid truck and it's pitch black at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time in Florida. That's not possible. So I think they shot this meaning for it to go on later.
Yeah.
And I honestly shot multiple finishes, and this is the one that they went with. So that
I really thought this was going to close night one. I thought so.
I think a lot of us did.
Yeah, I mean, it was very evident that it was supposed to go later with the way that they shot the truck coming in the pitch black night, which can't happen at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time in Florida. But it was one of those things where you have the choice of either putting this title in this heel and making her a star in front of fans, and then having Becky chase for a while. Yeah, but it's very. I'm with you, John. To me, it makes me feel like they're gonna put the halt on programming after next week's NXT, because they can't have her chase, and that would take some stock out of Becky Lynch if she can't chase Shayna Baszler for a few months. So to me, it seems like they're gonna be putting the brakes on.
Frank, you were there at WrestleMania with me last year. Both of us felt the finish was very underwhelming with the crucifix pin. They do the Bret Hart pin here in this one. Very short match. What'd you make of it?
I instantly thought what you just brought up, how Becky's now had 2 matches in a row that the finish just didn't quite work out and kind of came out of nowhere. It's not a good thing for her. I was surprised this did not close the show. They stole 2 Bret Hart sleeper sequences here, which I thought listen, they're borrowing good stuff. The other one was earlier in the match when Shayna had her locked up and Becky tried to go through the bottom rope and take Shayna with her through the top, well, actually through the middle. It's something Shawn and Bret did at the Iron Man match in 12. This did not work out tonight, though. Shawn and Bret obviously a lot prettier. This was good. Like, this was the first match that I was sitting down and saying, okay, I'm into this. I want to watch them work. They're doing a good job. I love most of Shayna Baszler's matches. I think she's fantastic. This was good work. It's just like John brought up. How the hell can they get 30 seconds less than Elias and Baron Corbin? Like, it's crazy. And this was such a built up big match for this WrestleMania. I mean, look at the highlight that Shayna Baszler got by doing what she did in the Elimination Chamber last month. So for this to be so short like this and not really get it out of those girls like you really needed to, it just was really shocking to me. I thought it was good, but I did not use the word great until we were talking about the next match, and we'll get to there. JT?
The match was good, yes. Something was off. I don't know. Maybe it's been this whole angle, but, I thought they did an amazing job with her Elimination Chamber. I thought that was awesome. It's basically what Paul booked for CM Punk.
Yep.
That's basically what it was. But man, there's something off about this match. It was good. There's something off about their chemistry. I can't put my finger on it, but it was good, but it was a Raw match. It was a Raw match.
I disagree with that. I don't think it was a Raw match. I think they worked a pay-per-view quality match up until this quick finish that came out of nowhere. But this is
like it could have gone another 4 to 5 minutes.
Shayna Baszler's lost maybe 4 or 5 times since coming to WWE, and I think 4 of the times she has lost with this finish.
Yeah.
Kairi Sane beat her.
I know Kairi used it on it for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe just a little change things up there.
Yeah, there's something for me that was off.
And also, just think about this. They shot this early. There could have been edits in there that we didn't notice that happened.
Correct.
We could have they could have aired this one because it was the best take at what they did.
They could have cut 5 minutes off this thing.
They could have cut 5 minutes off of it. Absolutely. They cut
That's
the
a good
worst
point.
parts out.
That is a good point.
I mean, I don't know that, but it's possible in theory.
To me, it looked like they were working really hard, and then the finish just came out of nowhere. It felt like it was about to heat up, and then it went nowhere.
Yep.
Agree.
But I did like it for what it was.
It wasn't bad.
Would you go back and watch it?
No.
No.
Well, not just
That's that to me is the measure of a match.
to
I'm
be
not gonna
fair,
go back and
Frank,
watch any of these shows other than the Boneyard match.
Listen. I would go back and watch that triple threat ladder match we're about to talk about. I thought that was really good.
well,
Yeah.
First, we had Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan, and talk about a disappointment. I saw this got a mixed reaction on Twitter. There were some people who really liked this match. I was disappointed because I know what Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan are capable of doing there, and they didn't get to do it. They didn't get to do it. So,
I mean, here's the thing: these are two of the best workers in the ring, especially psychology wise, selling wise. And they've got Sami Zayn for some reason. I mean, we know he was punished for saying AEW on television, and it took this long for him to be back in the ring actually doing matches. But it's like they've ingrained him into this character and angle with Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura, where he has to play this character instead of work the style of matches that we know he's capable of working. And so even though it's not what I want to see from Sami Zayn, because I know how good he is, to me, he still plays that chicken-ish heel really well. And I didn't need 10 minutes of it at the beginning of the match.
yeah,
I didn't need that much of it. Could have been 3 or 4 minutes and then work the match. They went way too long with the in and out stuff. But once it got going, the two guys were who they were. They're great. And I enjoyed this match, aside from the length of the
Gaga,
the chicken shat heel. But he's doing a good job of it, even though that's not the character that probably most people would want to see him working, because it hinders what he can do in the ring.
it had a lot of WWE Gaga in the beginning. That was the problem, and they didn't let them. It wasn't
Ballyhoo.
It wasn't designed for Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn to go out there and have the mat classic that we know they can have if they're given 20 minutes and can go out there and literally just start locking up and going crazy, and Sami can perform like he always did at NXT TakeOver. Then, you know, and look at the two guys that he's with, by the way. I love seeing him with Cesaro and Shinsuke, because it's the two people that I remember him having absolute drag out classics with in NXT. And I think it's a great little group.
but I also, what I didn't like about this match was one of those finishes where the WWE baby faces just look so stupid for getting distracted. Daniel Bryan gets distracted, does a move on the outside, comes back, gets caught with the kick. 1, 2, 3. And
that's typical WWE.
And I just, but
Right.
this is
It
Daniel,
wasn't a WrestleMania finish.
right? It's a SmackDown finish,
Right.
Yeah.
exactly. And that
This
is
is
Saturday Night Raw.
that is the issue that I have with that.
Let's
Let's
see
talk,
if we're going to have today and tomorrow. No question about it.
let's talk,
Everybody, welcome to Saturday Night Raw.
let's talk about this triple threat ladder match. So this was supposed to be a triple threat tag team ladder match, which would have been exceptional. These are three very fun teams. Miz and Morrison,
that Rona.
Miz and Morrison did a rap for this, which they used as a promo for the match.
They did. Yeah.
And then told you, well, it's a shame because Miz can't be there, and now it's only a triple threat singles match.
Miz got that
With
Roro.
said, they made the absolute best out of the situation that they could, and these three worked their asses off.
No shocker. No shocker.
This
Look
was
at the three guys in the
3+
match.
star match in the match. Yeah, I mean, this was the only 3+ star match on this card.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
I loved it. I thought it was so good. It really was something that I enjoyed watching and really enjoyed it even without the crowd there. Like, I thought it was done really well. And you knew these three guys on paper with a ladder were just gonna go balls to the wall. I mean, it was John Morrison tightrope walked the top rope into a Spanish fly. Are you effing kidding
This
me?
was the best John Morrison we've seen since his return. No doubt about that.
Most comfortable too.
Oh yeah.
Most comfortable. Doug, we were talking a little bit about this. You know, you felt like even without the people there, the ladders worked fine. I agree that they did work fine, but I can't help but think, man, how would the crowd have reacted to that spot that Frank just mentioned?
Yep.
How would the crowd have
Absolutely.
reacted to some of that?
Would have been
Well,
8.
you can say that about any of these matches, but this was the first match on this card where none of the people played to the crowd because they didn't have to. There's a difference between look at what we saw in NXT this past Wednesday and with Velveteen Dream and Roddy in the ring, or Bobby Fish. When you think about those two guys. One is a performer who needs the fans. I just sent you guys. Evolve posted a free match of Velveteen Dream from this past year facing. It's a complete performance match. It's a lot of fun, but you have to have fans there. Period. Because someone like that doesn't work. You've got John Morrison, who is super flashy and engages the fans in all the moves that he does. You have John Morrison who can actually wrestle matches with athleticism. You've got Kofi Kingston who can actually wrestle with athleticism, and you've got Jimmy Uso who can actually wrestle with athleticism. They're not performing, and they don't. In a match like this, where they're actually having a lot of athleticism involved, does it need fans in the arena to captivate and tell a story? They told the story with what they were doing in the ring with the ladders, and that's it. It's how AEW has been able to get by almost every single week on Dynamite. Last week 2 weeks ago was the difference maker, where NXT was actually better than AEW. But most of the time with AEW, especially these empty arenas, they're still getting by because their athleticism and the matches that they're having don't require fans to be there barking shit at them. And that's, you think about with WWE, their formulaic matches that they have every single person use requires there to be fans there because they pander to the fans.
Right.
There were two matches that I thought on this card that didn't have to have that. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, even though, yes, guess what? The big jump off the stage would have had a ginormous pop, and
the match getting restarted. Don't forget that.
Yeah. That's all for the crowd.
What about?
But the ladder was the difference maker. They didn't have to have a crowd there.
What about the finish to this match? This ends with Jimmy Uso and Kofi Kingston looking like the biggest losers in the world. They just let the belts. They're all fighting over the belts. They just let it go.
Because they're baby faces, and that's how WWE books their baby faces. Dumb. Just happened with Daniel Bryan.
Goobers. Stop. Why do we have to do this? Why does it have to be so cartoonic, so goofy? Goobers. I don't get it. Just stop it.
And yes,
here's your first stop it of the night.
We've had some questions in the chat room. Jimmy Uso probably went out to a crash pad when you didn't see where his landing was.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Why? Listen, I wasn't in the place. I'm gonna say probably. Okay, but
it's just like you could see the dust fly off the crash pad when Elias hit it on SmackDown, but then they cut to the overhead shot of him being dead on the concrete. Yeah. Plus, you heard not.
Which, you know what? I don't care, because I'd rather Jimmy Uso hit a crash pad there than die a death on the outside.
Sure.
Like let's. They are not wrestling in front of anyone. Let's protect these guys. I know Mark Henry thought that 200 million people were going to be watching WrestleMania this week. He is.
It won't go over 3.
He is not correct about that.
No.
But yeah, I mean, look, they worked their asses off, and it was fun. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, they went 17 minutes and 20 seconds. They did a dusty finish here, fake out.
They did.
Bell shot. Kevin Owens is the ultimate babyface. No,
great bell shot.
I want my clean win here. And he gets it. Kevin Owens finally, after all these years, gets his WrestleMania moment, jumps off the set, through a table. Could not have looked any better.
It was perfect.
Awesome. It was a good match.
Frank, what'd you make?
All right, first off, was I imagining things during Rollins' entrance, or did he literally just appear on screen?
Did
anybody notice that?
He walked out.
Oh, did he? Okay. I thought they did an effect.
Or he was wearing a robe, but he came out.
We have Matt Hardy teleporting around arenas these days, so it could happen.
No. Those were holograms.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Also,
Vanguard
Rollins now, his attire is inspired by Hakushi. Okay. Which I know.
Flash Brody Lee.
We just need the marking. We just need the symbols on his face.
Listen, I love the both of them. I thought the match was good. It had moments in it where it lost me, but then it had moments in it where it grabbed me back, and then I was like, "Oh wow, that was good." So it was for me. It was kind of a tale of two cities in that match. Like, I was into it, and then I was like, I kind of want to check my phone. Then something else big happened, and I was into it. And they good thing they didn't go with the DQ. We were all going nuts about that. That would have been really bad. They went back.
That would have been
the jump off the sign is probably for what was booked in the arena tonight, going to be the most replayed moment of night one of WrestleMania 36.
It will be the most.
Yeah. I liked it. I know close friends of mine think that Owens drops a terrible stunner and shouldn't be using it. I don't think he drops a bad stunner. I just don't think anybody besides Austin should ever drop a stunner. That's my opinion. So
tell them that tell Vince to stop being an idiot hypocrite and allowing folks to do Panama Sunrises and Canadian Destroyers, but not let him use the package pile driver. It's the stupidest thing on the face of the planet. Period.
They've always been pick and choose with whatever whatever the hot thing of the week is that, you can't do that move. You know that. So it's just
you can't do a pile driver in WWE, but you can do a Canadian Destroyer, which is a flipping pile driver. It makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't know, but I thought this was good, and
but none of you would say it was great. Are we in agreement?
No, I would say this is a 2 3/4 stars match, and I think that. But these are two guys who also know how to talk, and so they didn't shut their mouths up the entire match, which helped. Because guess what? There's noise in the ring while they're wrestling. So Owens and Rollins jawing back and forth to each other the entire match made this feel better in an empty arena than any other match on the card outside of the ladder match.
And that came out a lot tonight with the talking in the ring and the bantering towards each other in a lot of matches. And sometimes it was cringeworthy. Here was where it worked. Definitely.
You know where you want to
still a bitch.
You want to know where it was cringeworthy?
Oh, please tell me. Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Arise, Asuka, arise.
Yeah, if you have not gone and listened to this, folks, Living the Gimmick. I forget what episode it was. We did the resurrection of Asuka, and it was probably one of the single funniest things that has ever aired on a Wrestle Reaction platform. It is something worth checking.
Also, don't forget about the time that I proposed a date to Asuka to bring her to Benihana's on a award show.
This
also.
This certainly did happen.
All right.
By the way, we've sworn off Benihana's. They suck now. They dropped the ball on us a couple of times.
You turned on them.
I'm gonna use DiCaprio's words exactly. No more Benihana's. I don't care whose birthday it is. Okay, straight from Wolf of Wall Street. They just suck.
Nagasaki's.
Shout out to Inatome on Long Island. That place is the bomb. I'm not going to Benihana's ever again.
Nagasaki.
Braun Strowman versus Goldberg. Now, let's talk about this, guys. Not a
-5 stars.
Not a single video package for this because this was literally thrown together. No angle, no nothing. Roman Reigns went all of SmackDown still in this match. And then it was as SmackDown ended, they said, oh, by the way, Braun Strowman's replacing Roman Reigns. There was no build to Braun Strowman being in this match. There was no build to him winning the championship. But in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, Braun Strowman, after 4 years really, of chasing a world championship, being obliterated by Brock Lesnar at every single turn, walks in, hits 4 power slams after eating 3 spears, and is your new Universal Champion. It was like a video game match where everyone just stored up the finishers and just hit them, and that's it. Braun Strowman is the champion.
That was 4 spears, by the way. 4 spears, and he never even hit a jackhammer, which, by the way, I wonder if Goldberg maybe couldn't do it because I'm surprised that Strowman didn't kick out of that. But yeah, he wasn't. They weren't taking a chance after he almost killed Taker, right?
Yeah, no way.
If there was one moment in the full year that JT and I were off the air that I have to talk about both sides of this. So if I'm going to say it and then I'm going to take it back. If there's one moment that I wish we could have been on the air, it was after Goldberg beat The Fiend. But then I'm going to say, thank God we weren't, because I wouldn't be alive today.
You would have got kicked.
I would have had a goddamn stroke and massive coronary on the air because I was livid that day. Like that, literally, I had steam coming out of my ears that day, what they did with him in Saudi Arabia. Look,
you know what I did? I laughed because I knew it was coming.
I was in such denial because I couldn't believe they were going to do it. And here we go. I don't like Bill Goldberg. Okay.
We know.
I have respect for Bill Goldberg for being an attraction, for learning how to do what he did, for creating a great invincible character, for killing himself in the gym 7 days a week, looking like a goddamn Greek monster. I think everything about him as far as what he has done financially. I respect the shit out of him. As far as his contribution to professional wrestling, for
Go
what
ahead,
I
Frank.
love about professional wrestling.
You have my permission. Unleash. Go ahead. This is it. This is your rant.
I cannot stand the bastard, okay? He has made nobody. And don't anybody tell me right now that he just made Braun Strowman tonight, because, ladies and gentlemen, this was all by complete accident, okay? Braun Strowman won the Universal title from COVID-19 tonight, okay? Put that in the record books, because he wasn't even in a decent match on this card before Roman Reigns had to walk out of that performance center and not be able to perform tonight. Goldberg put nobody over. Who did he ever put over? Nash with the cattle prod? Nash was already a made man, okay? Lesnar at Mania 33? Lesnar was already bigger than anybody in the business still is. Who else? Triple H, when he lost the title to him in 03? Triple H was already a god in this business. Goldberg made nobody in this business, has never given back to the business. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, everything bad they ever say about the Ultimate Warrior being nothing but a weightlifter, that's Bill Goldberg. I think he sucks, okay? And I'm happy he's gone and the title's off him right now, and I'm glad Strowman, by accident, stumbled and stepped into this. Where is it going to go for him?
Nowhere. It means nothing. It means nothing.
Go ahead.
I agree with everything you just said, and I'm a WCW mark. So there's that. But this means nothing. This was a COVID-19 title loss. Period.
You cannot go to the well again and do a Strowman Roman Reigns feud for the fifth time.
Nope.
I don't see any value in doing that. Roman Reigns was obviously supposed to win the championship here. I imagine that the Fiend will probably go after Braun Strowman next, and that's probably where that goes, and they'll see where they go from there. I'm not sure. Maybe he gets the title back after all of this, and this was all done for absolutely no reason. And then Roman Reigns and the Fiend have their match at SummerSlam, and it was all messed up for the sake of just being messed up. This was a nothing match. There was nothing to it. If you listen to Living the Gimmick every week on Tuesdays, you know Doug McDonald right now, not a big fan of Braun Strowman.
Dick.
Nope. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think the heat with Matt Riddle on Goldberg is real or fake?
Real.
I think there's some realism to it.
What about Ziggler and Goldberg? You think that's real? So let's just
probably not to the extent of Riddle and Goldberg.
So let's just spit this out. Goldberg's an asshole, okay? He's an asshole. He makes millions of dollars. God bless him. I wish I had his money, but he's an asshole. Okay, he's an asshole, and he never learned the art of wrestling. He retired one of the greatest wrestlers in history, my favorite wrestler, Bret Hart. The guy's an asshole. Okay, and basically here he is, swooped in, took the title off the Fiend, which sucked. Okay, and now here he is, and then the icing on the cake was they didn't even get to do. They didn't even get to do what this stupid little plan that they had because of what happened now. Okay, so can I just say, please let this be the last time I have to see Goldberg in the ring. I'm just so done with it.
Not going to happen.
And you're probably right. Not going to happen.
You just think about this, Frank. Goldberg got a $3 million payday tonight to go work in an empty arena.
There's your question about Goldberg.
Is that $3 million for that one match, or is there extended contract? What's the deal?
I mean, you get my point. Like he
answer that question, Frank.
Yeah, I think well, listen, okay, Goldberg has drawn tremendously throughout his whole career. I would have a deep discussion with the four of us to see if we thought that he really moved the needle. Now, I don't know if he really moves the needle that much now.
But
he doesn't move a needle now whatsoever. No.
As I said, go ahead, JT.
But there's people that argue. But quick before you go, there's people that would argue that with the SmackDown ratings increasing by a little bit because he was scheduled to be on the show and make his interviews and everything else, that he moves the needle. I think that's BS.
But John Cena was also advertised for that show.
Right.
The quarterlies didn't go crazy because Goldberg was still on the show.
Thank you.
Think about it with Edge. Edge hasn't moved a damn needle on Raw either.
You know why? Because none of it matters. They're not going to move any needles.
Needle now. That's it. And if the product gets good, it's a different story.
So when you answer the question, does Goldberg draw? You said yes. My counterpoint to that would be, does he draw, or was he at the right place at the right time and was with the right people to draw? Hogan, Goldberg, Did he draw that match, or did Hollywood Hogan draw that?
Oh, it was definitely Bo. It was a lot more.
Well, hang on.
That match only had a 3-day freaking build.
Because
I was there in the arena.
Right. Weather always draws the box office to finally get his teeth knocked out because he talks a lot of shit and he always. So
what I'm saying is,
wanted to see Goldberg win. I think it's a two.
Without Hogan going on the run in '97 and being Hollywood Hogan, that Goldberg draw doesn't happen.
But you probably
Goldberg was drawing like crazy with the streak before that, dude. I mean, he was like, people were going nuts for Goldberg. The tons and tons and tons of messages coming into WCW asking for Goldberg merch because they had not even made the guy merch yet, and he had been going through a tear the entire year, and he won the U.S. title from Raven. The place went bonkers, and he was drawing like crazy. Signs everywhere for Goldberg. The chants organic, the streak organic. This was one of those things where he was drawing, and when he won that title from Hogan, and that me being involved in that crowd going absolutely banana, it was the craziest thing I've ever been a part of live ever, and it was unreal how people were so into this guy when he faced Hall before he even faced Hogan. So he was super over in '98. It was the way they booked him,
and there
which is how you get anybody over.
As soon as the streak ended, this, as far as I'm concerned, anything he did 10 out of 10 being that super draw, it never happened in the rest of his career. I don't care.
There had never been a character like him to that point, so it was different.
His drawing power went down once he turned heel in 1999. After the taser, after the cattle prod and all that, when he lost, fans were still chanting, because I've just rewatched 99 and 2000, 2001 with Brian and Vinny. Like, I watched it. He was still drawing like crazy until Nash got the book and said, I'm going over with this cattle prod thing. And then the decline started. They wanted to see him get his title back. Didn't happen. Decline started. He turned heel, and it was like, okay, nobody cares anymore.
I just want to
don't forget, he was supposed to get the return match, and then he decided to put his hand through glass the next night.
Yeah, he was an idiot.
So
I just want to bring the point up real quick that we talked
about. Then he kicked Brett in the head.
We talked about this on Living the Gimmick as well. I think when the decision was made to go with Goldberg this year, that the idea was that WrestleMania was going to be on an over-the-top network and over-the-top stream.
Absolutely.
And Goldberg's name has appealed to a older nostalgia audience who maybe doesn't watch.
Which is WWE's audience.
But to there are a ton of people, man, I got tweets about it today. I got texts about it that I could show you right now. Goldberg's wrestling? Like, Goldberg's still there?
Because there's nothing else going on in the world right now, John.
But I got those messages.
Wouldn't give a shit.
I got those messages when I was in Bangor, Maine, and Goldberg was facing Brock Lesnar by the other sports reporters.
And let me ask you the best question. They can text you about that all they want. Did they even subscribe for $9.99 to watch any of it?
My point, though, Frank, is that it brings the appeal to the audience that doesn't even know what would be going on otherwise, and it gets the wheels talking. I'm not saying that is.
It's a name that they've known for 22 years.
Exactly.
Like, I get those texts also from people that were diehard wrestling fans 15, 20 years ago. But guess what? They could text me and be like, oh, wow, Goldberg's back. Guess what? A couple hours later when the event's on, they didn't watch it. They didn't pay for it. They just wanted to be like, oh, shit, Goldberg's back. And they wanted to text the wrestling guy so they could have a little conversation about it. They didn't pay for it.
And Frank, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm saying think about the thought process here of what
that was Vince's thought process all day.
Exactly.
Now, it was not going to sell this pay-per-view for $60 on an over-the-top network. Obviously, it didn't.
Can't wait to see what the paid buys are.
All
right, we gotta talk about this final Boneyard match.
Before we talk about the Boneyard match,
I think the fans love that little side route we just took because we had to get that out. But yeah, I'm just not a Goldberg guy, and I'm glad that the title's off him now. And unfortunately, JT's right. We'll get more of him in the future, and it just all sucks, man. Like, Bray did such a good job.
Got to go to Saudi again.
What's that?
Got to go to Saudi again, so he'll be back.
Yeah. Now, before they show us the Boneyard match, they dropped this little teaser about this Undertaker documentary series.
Yeah.
Where it's Taker's last ride. So clearly building to an Undertaker retirement in the not so distant future. So they plant that right before this match, or whatever you want to call this, the Boneyard match. Now,
the Boneyard deletion.
I will say, From what I have observed, the general consensus has been positive to this match. But
I think it's super polarizing.
one of our own absolutely hated it with every fiber of his body. JT must rant. Get your stop it out. Go ahead.
So all three of you love the final deletions, right?
I gotta be honest with you, I didn't see all of them. I saw the main first one he did, and I saw the WWE one.
There were a couple of them that were good. There were a couple of them that were
John?
good.
I think the Great War was outstanding. And
I hated all of them.
We know.
Every single one of them. And I hated this. Here's what I liked. I'll start with what I liked.
One question. Was this better or worse than the House of Horrors match? And then continue.
Oh, better all day.
I mean, is that even a
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
So here's what I loved.
It could not have even been worse than that.
I
now
loved
the Firefly Funhouse match tomorrow night. That may be like your House of Horrors.
Right. So the character, loved it. The new Taker Mark Calloway character, loved it. Thought it was great.
Big Evil.
We're dead by Metallica. Doug and I lost our mind.
I lost my mind.
Which you'll never hear again, by the way, after a couple months when they lose the rights to the song.
Right.
Just like what they did, the memory remains for the end of the era, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, and they did Mania 27 for Whom the Bell Tolls. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I loved that. I loved riding in on the bike. I thought that was cool. I knew what I was getting into, and then it just starts going.
Oh no,
And
they did 27.
Ain't no
they
grave.
did Johnny Cash. Ain't no grave.
Ain't no grave,
Can't
man.
hold
That
my
was
body.
dope.
Yeah, but when he
That
did
was
the
dope.
actual entrance, he
Yeah.
Triple H used for Whom the Bell
Triple H
Tolls.
did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They used Johnny Cash for
JT, did you like AJ's entrance?
Sure.
I thought it was cool for what they were doing.
I mean, yeah, it's fine, but I don't know. It was a little too cheesy for me at times. Specifically, the one that sticks out the most in my mind is the end when Taker gets on the bike and then he rides away, and then the pyro and then the Taker symbol.
the lasers. I hated the lasers.
Stop.
I hated the lasers.
It's just too much of that for me.
I'm fine with the pyro, even though you could see the pyro stacks, like the stacks in the shot. But
Too many
the
cuts,
lasers.
too many cuts and edits, right? Like
too many cuts all night. Okay.
Too many cuts all night, right? That's typical for WWE, but specifically, he throws him into the grave and then it cuts to right over his shoulder, and it's like, all right, man.
When the trucks need new skin on their fingers from hitting the goddamn buttons for cuts all night. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
It wasn't awful. It wasn't good. I know I saw a Bleacher Report article that just was like, the WWE world is loving the Boneyard match. And I'm like, I mean, for what it was, sure. But will I ever go back and watch it? Nope.
This was They Live. Okay. This was B horror movie with Taker and AJ Styles being the main actors.
Yeah.
And then 35 druids. There was 35 druids that acted like the Dark Order.
And then the Dark Order.
I love that Evil Uno tweeted out, "That's not us." Here's what I'll say about it. This was better than any GD match that these two guys could have put on in front of a live crowd at WrestleMania.
It was.
Period.
That was going to be my biggest question to all of you tonight, by the way.
The Undertaker is not capable of going in there and having a 20-minute match. This was 20 minutes of television. He could not have gone out there and had a 25-minute match with AJ Styles. That would have been great. He is not the Undertaker of old. It could not have happened. It would not have happened. So that being said, after we talked about the fact when Taker was going to have a match at WrestleMania, and as soon as we all heard it, we all said, I don't want to see him in the ring again ever. Like when he was fine at Extreme Rules last year in a tag match, but anytime he's by himself in any of these matches now, it's not good. So I don't want to see him in a match. But the fact that they did this and they brought back American Badass Taker, they brought back Big Evil. He came out to freaking Metallica, and I liked the presentation of all of this, and I enjoyed the over the top. I'm here. There's two things I need to do. I need to chew gum and kick some ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Like this was They Live, and I was here for it. I thought it was actually.
I think my biggest overarching theme in this whole thing was just being super tainted to the fact that they're still running the show going into it, that no matter what they did, I'm not going to like it because they shouldn't be running the show. They should have never taped it. They should have canceled it. It shouldn't have happened, period. So maybe my views are a little tainted, and I'll put some acceptance on that for me, but it was, for what it was fine. But I'm never going to watch it again.
I have to say this. They went all out with the production of this, and Ryan Satin did report that Jeremy Borash was the man behind this, which
Of course he was.
because he was in charge of a lot of the Matt Hardy stuff. And look, if you liked this Boneyard match, you got to give a lot of credit to a guy like Matt Hardy, because without a guy like him, this doesn't even happen. And Underground to a degree as well. But
wait a second. Come on. Jake Roberts was burying the Warrior in graveyards long time before Borash ever got his hands dirty.
I'm talking about these cinematic style wrestling matches per se. I enjoyed the Undertaker's banter here. The Undertaker's banter was pretty funny.
Good.
He was wheezing like a donkey at some points in this thing. It was ridiculous. It was super over the top. The way the thing ended makes me think, especially with this whole Taker documentary clue coming right before this, that this is a match they could revisit a year from now and actually retire The Undertaker. With AJ Styles' hand reaching out and all that goofiness. It made
Goofy.
All right. First of all, this was WrestleMania, but it wasn't WrestleMania.
This was not WrestleMania. Period.
This is the problem we're all going to have with this. And we're going to feel the same way after tomorrow night. It's not WrestleMania. I mean, there's stuff that's good and not amazing that I'll still go watch from the past 35 WrestleManias because the crowd is there and they're into it, and it just makes for an experience. And I'm a junkie for that. I mean, honestly, like, I'm a friggin' junkie for big stadiums and big WWE production and big time matches with big time stars. I'm into it. You know what I mean? And maybe that's why I can't love some of the other companies that you guys do as much. I do appreciate what they do, but I'm a junkie I'm a Vince fan from the 90s. I'm not a Vince fan now because he effed everything up and he's out of touch now, but what he built in the prime, I'm a Vince fan, and that's my type of wrestling. And it's what, Triple H conveys and the things that him and Shawn do in NXT. That's the type of thing. And this is just, how can I ever, with the 35 years of shows that I've been watching lately, matches here and there from everything else, how can I ever go back to this and feel like this is me watching a WrestleMania? It's not their fault, but it is their fault. We're in a crisis in the world right now, but at the same time, nobody, and that includes AEW, nobody should be wrestling. And I know you two have been preaching this on your show every single week. Everything should be shut down. Now, let's go to the next step of it that I haven't commented on yet. This match. First of all, I may be the only one out of us four that thinks that in the ring with 60-something thousand people, that they could have got it done to a very good level. Okay? And I'm going to say mostly because I have that much faith in AJ Styles. And I think Taker is in a lot better shape than he was, let's say, at 33, when you can clearly tell the man can barely even walk straight. All right? So I would have loved to have seen that in the Buccaneer Stadium.
Keep in mind, AJ is also beat up right now too, Frank.
Yep.
Dude,
Isn't he taking time off?
AJ would have friggin' pulled the Varsity Blues and put the friggin' needle and painkillers in and gone out there and done the job, man. I mean,
it's Dan.
Exactly. He would have got a great match out of Taker. Listen, not like the best Taker match ever, but I would have given it. I would have said they could have pulled off an 8 out of 10 match. So now here we are.
I don't know what you're like, Dan.
Exactly.
I'll give you a 6 out of 10 match.
It's a 10.
I would have said it would have been an 8. Maybe we'll find out next year. So we get the Boneyard match, and I have to tell you, and I tweeted this right before it started, and I did not touch my phone until this event went off from the moment I sent that tweet, because I had to take all of this in, knowing that the chairman of the board, that this was the moment of his life, because we make movies, pal. And that is all Vince has ever wanted to do. And this was his grand moment at the end of a night of WrestleMania to do a
Beyond the Ring again?
movie. Okay?
It's on Netflix. I watched it the other night.
Beyond the Mat. this was his moment to do a wrestling movie, and he did. And for everything we could have thought how bad that would have been, it wasn't. And to tell you the truth, I'm on the positive side of things with things. I wouldn't put it in my yearly review to go back and watch it like I do some of the other matches, like I do with Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle, which, by the way, was an amazing Untold episode. And I will go back at some point and watch this just to take it in again. It had its campy moments. For me, the first one that I just burst out laughing was Taker teleporting from the grave to behind the bulldozer. That was amazing.
Oh my God.
And then of course the lights behind the cabin and the wood falling down and the druids. That I was at that, but yeah, I mean, in a world where wrestling fans apparently absolutely love the Matt Hardy stuff, I thought it was. I have to say, I thought it was good.
It was,
and I have to say, for how bad the House of Horrors was, and how bad Vince can be with this type of stuff. And I also think that has to do with Undertaker being involved, because I think if this was going to be pure shit, he just wouldn't have allowed it. Also, I mean, and I think Doug would agree with me.
What? Why do you think that he would even go with you with that if he thought it was going to be pure shit? Have you watched wrestling in the past 2 years?
But this is Taker, bro. This is Taker.
I don't care who it is.
I don't
Vince has lost his mind.
Taker has not been good in the ring since.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like they're gonna suggest to somebody like Taker to do something stupid in that scenario, and he's gonna be the type of guy who's been there 30 years come November and be like, "Get the F out of here! I'm not doing that." Like, no, let's do something else.
Taker's a team player, man.
He's a team player, but John, we all listen to the podcast with Bruce and JR and everything else. We know Austin has literally been given good ideas and told him, "Get the F out of here! I'm not doing that." I mean, he didn't want to do the beer truck, for Christ's sake. You don't think Taker has basically at some point been like, "Come on, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. Let's do this." Like, this is a guy who's been there for 30 years. This is the godfather of the locker room. Like, Vince respects him, maybe more than anybody else. He's not going to go out there and do campy shit that other people are going to be forced into doing, okay? Roman got pushed into saying sucker and succotash. Taker wasn't saying that line. And if you don't see the difference right now, then we're on different wavelengths.
Well,
no, I agree that he's not. I mean, he said some stupid stuff when he was Big Evil, but it wasn't like that.
Well, yeah,
but I do. Yeah, I mean, Taker was given the green light to pick who he wanted to face. He chose AJ Styles. He also greenlit this creative direction they were going.
Right,
and he was going to come out in Tampa as the American Badass with Metallica. Don't think that they just got the rights to Metallica's song this week. That didn't happen. So the fact that he was going to come back as the American Badass is awesome, but I do not think this would have been a good match in the ring. I don't. I have
maybe
no
we'll
faith
find
in
out
it.
someday.
And this is the same reason why they're doing Bray Wyatt and John Cena in a campy ass TV match that's going to be shot in some random place, because also John Cena has sucked the last 2 or 3 years. And don't forget that we had Taker and Cena together 2 years ago at WrestleMania, and it was garbage. The whole story leading up to it and what they did in the ring was utter garbage.
Even though
these two guys cannot work a match.
No, even though this was on the more positive than negative side, it still makes me, with the way they did it, it still makes me even more worried about Cena and Wyatt tomorrow.
Of course it does. It should.
I think all things considered, it was harmless fun, and we'll see what comes of that tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow's card, we have Liv Morgan versus Natalya, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte, John Cena versus The Fiend, the Firefly Funhouse match, Bayley versus Lacey Evans versus Naomi versus Sasha Banks versus Tamina for the SmackDown Women's Championship, the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and your boy JT Austin Theory,
Austin Theory,
Aleister Black versus Bob Lashley, Otis versus Dolph Ziggler, Edge versus Randy Orton, last man standing, and your main event, Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre. Gents, all things
Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. Did I miss it?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and don't forget, guys, we're going to be back with you tomorrow night for a full review show of that as well.
Oh my God, I have to do this again?
You signed up for this, Cat, because it was going to be Doug and I.
Was that part of my $3 million contract like Goldberg? Is that in there?
No, but Doug and I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Living the Gimmick, where for as low as $5 a month, you can get review shows to all these shows. But gentlemen, what do you think of night one? I mean, they were given a rough hand. They chose to go with it anyway. It could have been a lot worse. I would not say it was a good show, but it also could have been a lot worse.
Shouldn't have happened.
It's exactly what I expected, to be honest with you. I thought I went into this thinking some of this is going to be absolute garbage and some of this is going to come out being good, but I would have wished that there was a crowd there to play off of and actually make it a big WrestleMania match. And JT, like he just said, and I agree with him, wrestling should have been done weeks ago, and this shouldn't even be WrestleMania. And it's just going to put a stain on the history of WrestleMania when you go through them, unfortunately. But we will be back here tomorrow night to do this all over.
John, I just saw your post in our chat. Chris with a K on Twitter, 561_ with the best meme of the night. Best meme of the night. That's fantastic.
Braun Strowman winning the title from COVID-19.
Yep.
Good stuff. That's good stuff. This is good stuff. This is fun.
One more night, guys. One more night.
Let's fun
Hang
to
out
see
with
you.
cronies.
I'm going to try not to drop that bomb tomorrow, okay? I did good night one.
You did great. I even gave you an opening, too.
Yeah, I was waiting on it.
Take it.
No, it's okay. I did plenty, okay?
We
have on tape Vince beating Asians because of the virus, okay?
He's got a bigger one when John Cena beats The Fiend and then Brock Lesnar pins Drew McIntyre in 4 seconds.
Can we talk about that? I think it's a very big possibility that Brock Lesnar retains last night. Tomorrow. And I said this to you guys when, like, probably 2 months ago in our chat. I said that I thought Brock had a good shot at retaining. So I'm very split with that match, to be honest with you.
The only thing I say to that is they have gone all in on Drew McIntyre with this build. Yeah. I mean, they really have. So
top 3 people that I feel bad for that WrestleMania got ruined for them: Rhea Ripley, Edge, and Drew McIntyre. So that's my list.
Yep.
I say Kevin Owens too.
Yeah.
Why? Can I ask you why, Kevin?
Yeah, because this was his year in front of a crowd as a babyface for the first time out of 4 WrestleManias he's been a part of to have his WrestleMania moment. He was going to jump off of something.
Yeah.
Period. He was going to jump off of something. So don't forget, he rehabbed and got ready and was supposed to come back last year to take the title as a babyface off of Daniel Bryan, and that got changed because of everything that got built up with Kofi Kingston. So yeah, I feel bad for the guy because this was the year that he was supposed to get his big babyface moment at WrestleMania in front of all these fans that were going to be cheering for him, and it didn't happen.
I can see that. I keep thinking about Ripley because just see them, they shoot the footage of her walking Raymond James Stadium. It's just like, oh, it just breaks my heart because this was just such a moment for NXT to finally be pushed up to that next level and have a title match of theirs on the WrestleMania show. And for this girl who's been probably the hardest pushed next made superstar in WWE for the past year to finally get such a great moment on the biggest stage. And here we are in the Performance Center. It's just, if I was her, I would be half heartbroken right now. I know I would be. So it definitely sucks. And for Edge, oh my God. I mean, after what? What are we talking about? 9 years?
9 years.
9 years. And then number one, and here's my big concern. Not only does it get relegated to the Performance Center, but now we're going to have a Performance Center match, no crowd, and it's going to be a last man standing match. I am very worried about
but you know what? If there's 2 guys who are going to make it work, it's going to be those 2.
I really hope so. I do.
What I said on the podcast, Frank, is that they have to go rocking Mankind. Like they have to go throughout every part of this building.
Yes.
They have to
do it.
Yeah. I love the fact that the chat room is just losing their minds because Acer joined the chat. Showing love to Acer, just showing love to Acer because we haven't had a Wrestle Reaction chat room in so long. The main moderator of the Wrestle Reaction chats, Acer 5000.
Oh yeah,
I've got some great messages in the past couple of days about us coming back and just it's great to be here. A lot of people asking about the future of the show. I don't know. I'm not going to say. I'm going to say what they always say in wrestling: never say never. This guy on the bottom right there is about to be a dad. Also, he's about to enter my world and find out what that's all about. And I've got a lot going on also. But the biggest thing for me, and I think JT agrees with me, is just that it's just they don't put out enough stuff that we're dying to talk about either. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just it sucks.
There's still a lot of good wrestling out there.
A lot of good
God,
AEW.
I don't have time to watch that good wrestling. I just don't have time to do it. I mean,
Yeah, neither do we, but we just record our podcast at 2 in the morning.
5 days a week. I'm not going to do that. Like, it's just not going to. I'm sorry. It's not going to take over my life. Like, it's friggin' insane. I mean, if that happens, then I'll just stop showering and split car rentals with my mom to go to Access and all the other crazy mutant shit I've heard about.
What are you saying about Doug and I right now?
No, I don't mean you guys. I'm talking about the mutants at Access. The reason why I'll never go to FanFest ever again. I'm not talking about you guys.
Doug and I end up recording these episodes at 2 in the morning for the LTG faithful over at patreon.com/living the gimmick, which for as long as
This episode of Wrestle Reactions brought to you by patreon.com/living the gimmick and barefoot wine and COVID-19.
I have the soundbite ready to go when we're good here.
Well, I mean, what I'll say to throw to that is thank you for being here. It was a blast to have everybody back with us, especially in the chat, having fun, and just to have this kind of release after what a weird show we just watched. We're gonna do it again tomorrow night. It's gonna be
forward to tomorrow night.
I know. I'm looking forward to this more than the show,
right?
And for anyone that thought that Baron Corbin Elias match was awesome.
What?
We got one thing left to say to you.
Hulk Hogan, you can go to hell. We're out of here. Straight to hell.